What's happening, guys? So I wanted to give an update on not only my training, but also just kind of what's going on around here with the whole hurricane situation coming up. So some people have been asking, so I wanted to kind of give you some insight onto what's going on there and then get into my training. So if you're only interested in the training portion of things, I will put a timestamp below so you can skip all this talk about the hurricane and everything else, and you can just jump right to that. But otherwise, you know, it's looking like we should be okay. So we're on the west coast, we're west of Tampa, so we're way on the west side of Florida, and all the new maps that keep coming out are pushing it further east and east all the time. So at first it was kind of like all over the place. Now it's starting to look like it's probably going to come up the east side of things, but we don't know yet. We don't know until that storm is actually going to turn whether we'll be safe or not. So as of right now, it is Thursday afternoon. You will see this on Friday morning. As of right now, we are going to stay put and we're going to ride it out. You know, on Tuesday, early in the morning, when things kind of started getting more serious, I went out right away and started getting some stuff. So I got there just in time too. Like, I went to Aldi. It was 8 something in the morning. I got there and the place was just packed. And you know, I go walking in. There's this guy coming out with, like, I swear, like 20 some cases of water. Like, don't be that guy, come on. But anyway, I get in there and I see like a whole pallet of water. So I'm like, all right, I should be good. So I go right to it. I grab a couple cases, go walk around the store to get some more stuff, get some more supplies, come back and the thing's gone. And the people are just looking around like, what do we do? I'm like, it was insane. The place was just packed. But got water, got some food, got supplies. You know, we gassed up both vehicles on Tuesday before, you know, everything became crazy. So right now, like, pretty much hardly any gas stations have any gas at all, and if they do, there's lines going all around the street just trying to get gas. So it's been pretty wild around here, pretty insane. So this is kind of our first real experience with a true big hurricane threat. So there was Matthew that happened, I think that was last year, but it just wasn't like, we just knew that it wasn't going to be hitting us, so it wasn't so bad. But with this one, with everything being so unsure and with it being such an intense storm, things were just kind of on edge for a while. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to stick it out. You know what? If it was looking like it was going to be a little bit more west, we'd evacuate. We'd get out of here in a heartbeat, and we wouldn't even think twice about it. But as of right now, things are looking pretty good, and I think we should be fine. You know, obviously we'll get rain and we'll get some wind, but we're not in any kind of flood zone or anything like that, so we should be good. Now, as far as training, like, I couldn't be any happier with how things are going, because I went after I got hurt again. So I ended up going basically 3 weeks without doing any squatting or deadlifting. And even at first, benching was kind of a bit of a no-go. I did a little bit, but it was like flat back, just not real benching, just kind of trying to move some weights the best I could. So after 3 weeks of no squatting or deadlifting, basically what we did was took the plan to do everything we could to keep hypertrophy up through other movements, so that when we came back into the actual movements themselves, hopefully the strength would still be there. So I basically spent 3 days a week doing some form of either leg press or split squats, as well as hip thrusts and some like BFR extensions and curls, just trying to keep up the hypertrophy. And it really worked very well, because I came back. So the very first week, which you saw in my last video, I just started pretty light. You know, I only worked up to 335 on squat for a single and 405 on deadlift for a single, just to test the back and see how things went. And everything went really well. So then the next week, I went to push it a little bit more. I was supposed to work up to an 8 RPE for a single. We're going to be doing singles the whole way from here on out now. No, just basically 1 day per week of singles, and that's it. Just trying to keep that strength, trying to avoid chances of injury, and just go into nationals healthy and hopefully at least have a shot at that 1,300 pound total. That's kind of like my big dream number. Like, if I can hit 1,300, I'll be ecstatic. And it's looking like it's a real possibility, but I'll probably have to have like a near perfect meet. I'll probably have to go 9 for 9 to hit it. But anyway, I went last week and I worked up to, it was supposed to be an 8 RPE for a single on squats and deads. And on deadlifts, I did it on Wednesday, worked up to 475. I was in Minnesota at the time in a different gym, and it moved really well. I was very happy with it. And I decided not to push it that day and go up to an 8 RPE and just kind of keep it at that. And then squats on Friday, I hit 435 for about an 8 RPE single. So very happy there. I went on Wednesday. I would normally go on Friday, but I bumped it up just because of all the hurricane stuff. I didn't know what was going to happen, so I wanted to make sure I got my powerlifting training in before I necessarily had to evacuate or things get shut down or whatever happens. So again, I worked up to an 8 RPE, and now we're also going to add in some back offs as well. So I worked up to 440 this time, which moved really well for squats. Depth was probably borderline, as close. It's kind of hard to tell, but I've been kind of protecting my lower back by not going too deep. Now that things are holding up, I'll probably start burying them a little bit more, but 440 moved fantastic. Probably wasn't even an 8 RPE, honestly, more like a 7.5. So crushed that, was really happy. Went on to deadlifts, and again, I was working up to an 8 RPE, and I worked up to 485, and I felt like that was more like about a 7. So what I ended up doing was going up to 500. Now that was probably more like an 8.5, but it still moved really well. I was still very happy with it, and I'm still ecstatic that I can deadlift 500 pounds like that after hardly doing anything for all that time and getting pretty much no stimulus of the actual movements. Like, I couldn't be happier. So huge shout out to my coach Jake for doing everything he could to kind of keep me in the game and keep my strength while I wasn't able to do a whole lot, and keep me healthy. And we'll just have to see. So I've got about 5 weeks now, so another 4 weeks of training, hitting these heavy singles, seeing how things go, and then come nationals, we're gonna go for 1300 and see what happens, and hopefully go out on top. But that's pretty much it for now. So thank you guys for watching as always, and I will keep you guys posted on how everything else is going next week in terms of not only the hurricane but more training as well. So I will talk to you later.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving.